In the self-help and spiritual circles, there's this concept called surrender or letting go that had always given me aneurysms. I'm a person who resonates with a lot of spiritual concepts, but I have to make logical sense of them first before I really buy in. And I think that's because I'm a person who hates feeling out of control. And surrender sounded too much like submission, which I logically don't believe serves people. So I would notice certain people in my life who would talk about going with the flow and stuff, but then constantly complain about being stuck in the same toxic relationship or work environment. So I was like, yeah, so are you doing anything about it? And they're like, well, but he's doing this or my boss that. And so I'm like, okay, so no, you're not doing anything about it. Like they were always just waiting for divine intervention or something. So I was afraid that if I too surrendered, it would be kind of feeling like I was held hostage in a car with life as a crazy driver. And I have no idea if we would go in the direction that I want, if we would just go around in circles or like, I don't know, crash into a tree or something. But then I would notice another set of people who'd be rocking it with work, life, and relationships, and also claim something along the lines of going with the flow. And when I probe them on how they figure things out to get to where they are at, they would talk about setting goals and all that for sure, but they'd also across the board say that their best ideas came when they weren't looking for it. It was like when they weren't trying to find it, then the best ideas showed up for them at the right place at the right time. And in context of relationships, they'd also talk about how their relationships just improved on its own when they stopped trying to do anything about it. So I was like, okay, were these people also just not doing anything and waiting for divine intervention? So as much as I resisted the word surrender, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something there I'm not quite grasping because I saw it both benefit some people and sabotage others. As I've come to get really intimate with this concept, both in theory and practice, I realize that those who sabotage themselves think surrender means submission, and those who use it productively treat surrender as an act of giving someone or something outside of yourself permission to take care of you and figure things out for you. Surrender means giving permission. And once I really got this concept, it changed things completely. Like, rather than giving parts of your power away, it amplifies the amount of power you have over your situations. You can give someone permission, that means you can take it away. You can even take it away without being consciously aware of it. You can give more than one person permission to help you with the same thing, and you trust that they get the job done in the meantime. So picture this. Imagine instead of being in a car with life as the driver, you're actually hiking along a path trying to get to your destination. You're taking action and moving in what you think is the right direction, but you're not alone. You have friends. Let's call them nudges. They want to help you get to your destination. So you allow these little nudges along the way to show up and tell you of a shortcut or a path to an even better destination than what you had originally come up with by yourself. And in order to receive what these nudges have to say, you can't be so fixated on any one particular way of doing things. But notice you're not just standing still waiting for the nudges to show up. You're still taking action along the way. The nudges are just there to help guide you. So say I'm in a relationship. I can choose to give my romantic partner permission to take care of me and do his part in the relationship, whatever that means for us. Because I give him permission, I outsource the responsibility of having to own his part in our relationship. I put faith into trusting that he can do it better than I can had I micromanaged. And as long as we're heading in the right direction of my desired outcome for our relationship, I see no reason to revoke that. However, if something doesn't go the way I like, I express my feelings about it and then give my partner permission to respond to that. It's not a blindly follow someone else thing. It's I have direction and I have faith that this person will do their part, but if we deviate from that direction, I'll express my thoughts and feelings as I wish and give them free will to respond as they wish. And if the relationship ends up being abusive or something that's definitely heading in the wrong direction, unless you're like physically oppressed to keep being with this person, then you have the right to revoke that permission. Get out. So the difference between someone who do the submission version of surrender instead of the giving permission version is that they think they're stuck and that they don't have the power to choose. So in the end, imagine that we are CEOs of our own lives. We give permission to the other players in our lives to do their part, and we can revoke it if they don't or can't. Ultimately, you can't control anyone else's free will anyway. I mean, I can't even control my cat, but you can control who to outsource to and for how long. Surrender means giving permission to others to figure out for you the how in areas that you aren't in full control of or are the best person for figuring out anyway. One last major difference between those who make surrender work for them and those who don't is that the ones who get it right, first they get clear on what they truly desire, like really clear to the point where they can feel it, touch it, taste it, as if they already have it. Like if you ask them what their ideal outcome looks like, they can almost describe it to you in a way that makes you feel like you have it. There's no, oh, well, I guess it'd be nice, or it'd be better if, you know what I mean? They don't have to think about it or wobble around it because they've already gotten so clear on it. If you don't get super clear and psyched about where you're going at the emotional level, it's easy to be led by the wrong types of nudges. So this is the difference between someone who just wants their relationship to be better, but have no idea what it looks like, so they don't do anything proactive and instead just let themselves get dragged around into something they ultimately don't want, versus someone who has a clear idea of what they want and behave in a way that will naturally filter out those who aren't a good fit and get the right fit people to show up. And this should be obvious by now, but they still take action. They're not sitting around waiting for divine intervention. They keep doing whatever they believe moves them in the right direction and are simultaneously open to course correcting as these new nudges show up in their lives. They're just not attached to any specific how of getting it. It's the difference between trying to make money or solve a problem in your work or business and getting so fixated on the specific how of doing it that you don't even see any other options, versus someone who is willing to try something and be open to new ideas that show up in the form of a shower thought or even like unrelated experience. So I was talking to my toddler niece the other day, and I know I can't talk to her like an adult, which made me realize that sometimes when I make affirmations for myself, it goes against a past trauma too much, such that my inner child objects to it. So I realized because of my experience with my niece that I need to rephrase these particular affirmations in a way that a 5-year-old can understand, because that's the age when I experienced the trauma, which means that's the age of the person I'm actually talking to when I say these affirmations. So for instance, saying I am enough appeals to my adult brain, but not my inner child. Enough doesn't mean anything to this particular 5-year-old self, but saying you're cool and I want to be your friend, now that appeals to my child brain, the 5-year-old who was picked on and just wanted friends. So anyway, the point is I couldn't learn this from anywhere else if I was looking for it, but only from opening myself up to inspiration from everywhere in life did I notice this connection. I realized how limited my own experience and knowledge is, and so while I always have some awareness of what hows are available to me right now, I'm also open to inspiration or guidance from the rest of the world because I know my brain is limited. Adopting this paradigm shift has also helped me be more creative and notice so many more opportunities and ideas than I would have had I kept being married to my own preconceived hows of doing things. Getting to my desired outcomes also became more fun because it put me in a naturally more exploratory and therefore playful mood. So I picked up meditating 2 years ago to help me with stress relief. And to this day, it actually still hasn't helped me that much with stress relief. But I did have other truly unexpected benefits along the way. Like just the other day, I was meditating and I realized that my brain wanted to share with me everything that occurred throughout the day. Usually I would just go back to my breath, but that particular day I felt nudged to listen to it as if I was listening to a girlfriend gossip. I kept doing this for a few days, which is something I've never meditated like that before. But what I noticed is that I fell asleep so much faster at night than I used to because my mental chatter was gone at night if I let it talk to me earlier during the day. So I don't know if this is true, but I have this theory now that if you let your brain bitch and moan to you during the day and actually, sit down and listen to it, but, not engage with it, it'll be more likely to shut up at night because it already got what it wanted to say out of its system. So who knows? Anyway, had I been so stuck on, no, this paying attention to the breath thing is the right way to meditate, I wouldn't have given myself permission to listen to what my inner gossip brain had to say. And had I been stuck on the whole meditation is for stress relief thing, I wouldn't have even noticed how it helped with my sleep, or I probably would have quit meditating a long time ago. So I literally just say to myself sometimes now, I give you permission to take care of me or figure this part out for me. And sometimes the you is just life in general. Sometimes I think of it as future me. Sometimes it's actual people or even imaginary people that I believe will show up to help me in the future. I find that it really doesn't matter many times when choosing, what words resonate with you because it's more of a mindset thing than anything. And I encourage everyone to create their own definitions and names for what resonates with them specifically. Mindset stuff is really a game of creating your own subjective reality, not to be confused with objective reality. For subjective reality, you can set your own rules and it can be fun. So I hope this helps anyone else whose mind struggles with the concept of surrender and letting go and making it make sense logically. It's actually super simple once you get it, and it's like exploratory play. It's just fun. And if this resonated with you, please like this video and feel free to subscribe. Until next time.